Hello friends, in this lecture we are going to start chapter 5 and it is about permutation groups. So permutation is defined on a set. Suppose you have a set A, then you take all 1 functions defined from set A to itself, then that set forms a group under function composition and that group is called permutation group defined on that set. So let us see this. So permutation of a permutation of a set A is a function from A to A that is both 1 and 1 2. And permutation group of a permutation group of a set A is a set of permutations of A that forms a group under function composition. So we are taking all 1 2 functions from A to A and that set under function composition forms a group that is called a permutation group of A. Now, all the groups of permutations of any non-empty set exist, but here we are going to consider only finite sets. So we are going to take the set of this form with some positive integer n. Suppose you have the set A where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 positive integers. Then a permutation alpha, an example of a permutation alpha on the set A is given. So this permutation basically a function which is just sending the elements of A to itself. These are 1. This is 1 onto function. So alpha 1 is 2. So 1 is mapping to 2. Alpha 2 is 3. 2 is mapping to 3. 3 is mapping to 1 and 4 is mapping to itself. So in an array form, this is called the array form of the permutation. So in this array form, we just write all the elements of the set A in this first row, and the images are just written just below these numbers. So image of 1 will be below 1, image of 2 will be below 2. So image of 1 is 2. So this 2 will be written below 1. Image of 2 is 3. So this is done here. And then image of 3 is 1. So 3 and 1. Image of 4 is 4. So 4, 4. So this is how you represent a permutation. This is called array form. And so if j is some element of A, then alpha j is placed exactly below j. So that's what we did just there. The permutation beta of the set, suppose you have some different set with 6 numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you have some of the permutation beta on the set. So beta is defined like this: beta 1 is 5, beta 2 is 3, beta 3 is 1, beta 4 is 6, beta 5 is 2, beta 6 is 4. So in the array form, this will be written like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the numbers from the set and then their images. So image of 1 was 5. So 1, 5, then 2, 3, 3, 1, then 4, 6, 5, 2, and 6, 4. So this is your permutation beta. Now, so now you know how to write permutation. Now you should know how to compose two permutations. So you have a set A with 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have two permutations defined on that set, sigma and gamma. So this is your sigma and this is your gamma. Now we have to compose the two permutations. Two permutations are composed as functions, you know. So we are finding gamma, sigma. So you just write both the permutations gamma and sigma, and then we are composing them as functions. So these are composed from right to left. You can see from this first, this from sigma you see what is the image of 2, image of 1. So image of 1 is 2. Then in this you have to check the image of 2. So 1 is going to 2 and here 2 is going to 4. So your 1 is going to 4. Now here 2 is going to 4 and 4 is going to 2. So 2 is going to 2. 3 is going to 3 and then 3 is going to 1. So 3 is going to 1. 4 is going to 5 and here 5 is going to 3. So 4 is going to 3. 5 is going to 1 and 1 is going to 5. So 5 is going to 5. So this is your gamma sigma. So this is how you compose two permutations. Like you compose two functions. F composite G will be f of gx. So first you apply g and then you apply f. This is the same way we are doing here. Now let us see a few examples. So this is an example of S3. S3 means you have a set A with these 3 elements 1, 2, 3, and we are defining set of permutations on this set. So this is called symmetric group S3. So you have set A, this set, then S3 denotes the set of all 1, 1 onto functions from A to itself. So these are all 1, 1 onto functions. So let us see. So this is your identity permutation or the identity element from this group of permutations. So identity means there is no change. Every element is mapping to itself. This is your identity element. Then this is your alpha. Alpha means here we are doing 1 is mapping to 2, 2 is mapping to 3, and 3 is mapping to. So this is your alpha. So if alpha is there, then alpha composite alpha, alpha into alpha, alpha square will also be there by your closure property. So what is your alpha square? You can just compose alpha into alpha, then alpha square will be this, and this is some other permutation beta. So here 1 is going to itself, and 2 is going to 3, 3 is going to 2. So this is a beta. So if alpha is there, beta is there, and alpha into beta should also be there. So next we are taking alpha beta. Then if so alpha square is there, beta is there, then alpha square into beta, a closure property, that will also be there. So you have identity alpha, alpha square, beta, then alpha beta and alpha square beta. Other than these, you compose all those permutations will be from these only. So, and you can check that beta alpha is not same as alpha beta. So this is a non-abelian group. So you have this group of permutations defined on the set A with 3 elements, 1, 2, 3, and it has 6 elements. So basically Sn has factorial n elements. So S3 has factorial 3 elements. So factorial 3 is 6. So S3 has 6 elements, and it is a non-abelian group, and it is the smallest non-abelian group. Now, its generalization symmetric group Sn when you have a set A with n elements 1, 2, 3, and the set of all permutations of A is called the symmetric group of degree n. So this was your symmetric group. S3 was symmetric group of degree 3, and here's generalization is, so the set A has n elements, then this will be your symmetric group of degree n, and it is denoted by Sn. So if alpha belongs to Sn, that means if this is some permutation, if alpha belongs to Sn, then it is of the form this 1, 2, 3 up to n, and then their images alpha 1, alpha 1, 2, alpha 2, then 3, image of 3 will be alpha 3 under this alpha, and so on. So this will be your permutation in Sn. Now computing order of Sn. So if you have some symmetric group, then how do you compute order of Sn? So the thing which I told you that Sn has factorial n elements, S3 has factorial 3, that is 6 elements. So how does it arrive? Now since A has n elements, so we are talking about Sn, so A has n elements. So there are n choices of alpha 1. So first we are taking this. So you have these n elements, then we are talking about images of these elements one by one. So for alpha 1, you have n choices. There are n choices of alpha 1. Now once we fix alpha 1, then there are n minus 1 choices for alpha 2. Now because the function is 1, 1, so you cannot repeat alpha 1 and alpha 2 cannot be same. They have to be different because the function is 1 to 1. So if alpha, you have chosen some value for alpha 1 out of those n values, then the remaining will be n minus 1. So there will be n minus 1 choices for alpha 2. So alpha 1 you have taken, alpha 2 you have taken, then there will be n minus 2 possibilities for next image. So after choosing alpha 2, there are exactly n minus 2 possibilities for alpha 3. Now you continue in this way, and then we get Sn has n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, and so on, 3, 2, 1. So these, all this product will give you factorial. So you have total factorial n elements in Sn. So the order is factorial n. Now next we have symmetries of a square. So you have already seen symmetries of a square in our initial chapter 1, when we started group theory. And we have also seen that it forms a dihedral group of degree 8. So that you can see in that video on my channel. So now what we are doing, now we're describing symmetries of that square as permutations. So you just take this initial position, and these are the corners, 4 corners of the square. We are naming them as 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we were doing there, we were just rotating it anti-clockwise, 90-degree anti-clockwise, and then 180-degree, then 270-degree. So and then horizontally, vertically, diagonally, they were different rotations. So you have this initial position, you just keep it fixed, then you rotate it 90-degree anti-clockwise, then your 1 will come here, 2 will come here. So 1 will take the position of 2, 2 will take the position of 3, 3 will take the position of 4, and 4 will take the position of 1. So your result will be this. So after 90-degree rotation, 1 is taking the position of 2, 2 is taking the position of 3, 3 is taking the position of 4, and 4 is taking the position of 1. So therefore, in the form of permutation, you can write, so these are your corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1 is taking the position of 2, 2 is taking the position of 3. So 1 is mapping to 2, 2 is mapping to 3, 3 is mapping to 4, and 4 is mapping to 1. So if we take the reflection along the horizontal axis, so that we have seen there also. So now in the form of permutation, let us see that again. So in the horizontal reflection, what you were doing, we are 3 will take the position of 4 and 2 will take the position of 1. And so 3, 2 will come here, 4, 1 will go there. So this permutation denoted by phi, and it is so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1 is taking the position of 2, 2 is taking the position of 1, 3, 4, 4, 3. So these are two elements, rho and phi, and these two elements will generate the entire group. That you can verify, that all the other your results of rotations that will come from these two. So you compose these two permutations, and then you will get all other elements of the group. So here D4 is represented as a subgroup of S4, because we have taken the SN, the generalized group. So, and we are here talking about the set A with 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically this is your S4, this is the subgroup of S4. So D4 is represented here as a subgroup of S4. Now we are going to see this cycle notation. The cycle notation was introduced by French mathematician Cauchy in 1815. So let us see, if you have these these 3 elements, 1, 4, and 6, then here you can see that 1 is going to 4, 4 is going to 6, and 6 is going to 1, then again 1. So this cycle is repeating. So this is your cyclic representation of any permutation. So in the array form, you will write it like this: 1, 4, 4, 6, 6, 1. So in a cyclic representation, you will write it as 1, 4, 6. So so what is happening here? The last element is going to the first element, and the cycle is terminating there. 1, 4, 4, 6, and then 6 is coming to the first element. Now see this. This is a cycle with 4 elements. So 1 is going to 2, 2 is going to 3, 3 is going to 4, then 4 is again coming to 1. This is a cycle of length 4. You can see 1 is going to 2, 2 is going to 3, 3 is going to 4, and then 4 is coming to 1. Let us see this. Now we are saying that every permutation of a finite set can be written as a cycle or as a product of disjoint cycles. Suppose you have this permutation alpha defined on a set with 6 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this alpha is given. Now we are saying that this alpha can be written as a product of 3 disjoint cycles. How we are getting these cycles? You just see this. So 1 is going to 2, and then 2 is again coming to 1. So 1 to 2, one cycle is terminating here. So this is one of your cycle, 1 to 2, 1. Now next, 3 is going to 4, 4 is going to 6, 6 is coming to 3. So 3, 4, 6. 3 is going to 4, 4 is going to 6, and 6 is coming to 3. Your cycle is terminating here at 3. So what is left now? So now 5 is going to 5. So you can just write 5. So 5 is going to 5. So this is your alpha represented as the product of disjoint cycles. Now let us see another permutation, beta, defined on the same set with 6 elements. So here you see 1 going to 5, 5 is going to 2, 2 is going to 3, and then 3 is coming to 1. So this is terminating here. So 1, 5, 2, 3. 1 is going to 5, 5 is going to 2, 2 is going to 3, then 3 is coming to 1. So what is left here? 4 and 6. 4 is going to 6 and 6 is going to 4. So 4, 6. This is another cycle. So beta is written as product of these two cycles. And this can also be written like this. 4, 6 into this can be represented as 3, 1, 5, 2. So 3 is going to 1. Then 1 is going to 5. 5 is going to 2 and 2 is going to 3. So if you start from 3, so these two will give you the same permutation beta. So you can write any permutation as a product of disjoint cycles. Either it is itself a cycle or it can be represented as a product of disjoint cycles. If any number does not appear in a permutation, that means the permutation is fixing that element. That is, that element is going to itself. So you do not worry if you cannot see any element in a permutation. That permutation is fixing that element. So mathematicians prefer not to write cycles that have only one entry. Suppose you have this permutation alpha, then if you break it into cycles, so you have this cycle, 1 is going to 3, 3 is going to 4, and 4 is going to 1. So 1, 3, 4, this is your cycle. Then 2 is going to 2, so this cycle with one element. 5 is going to 5, this is another cycle with only a single element. So you can omit these two cycles from here. You can just write 1, 3, 4. So if you have only one single element, then you can just remove that entry from here. So we do not prefer to write only one entry cycle. So they are same. You write them or you do not write them, nothing. It doesn't matter. So they are basically the identity permutations, you can say. Identity permutation consists only of cycles with one entry. So this thing comes here. Now this result says that disjoint cycles commute. If you have disjoint cycles, then they commute. That is, if you have alpha with these entries A1, A2, AM, beta is another permutation with these entries B1, B2, Bn, and there is no entry common in alpha and beta, then alpha into beta will be beta into alpha. They will be same. They will commute. So disjoint cycles commute. This is one of the important result. Next is order of a permutation. How do you find order of a permutation? So order is the least common multiple, the LCM of the length of the cycles. So what you're going to do, you're going to just write permutation as a product of disjoint cycles. Then you find the length of different cycles, then LCM of those lengths will be your order of the permutation. So you can see here, if F is your permutation and you have written F as the product of these cycles sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma k. Then sigma 1 is of length m1, sigma 2 is of length m2, sigma k is of length mk. Then order of this permutation F will be LCM of m1, m2, mk. So this is simple, nothing difficult in this. You just carefully write the permutation as the product of disjoint cycles. Then order will be easy. So next is even and odd permutations. When do we say that a permutation is an even permutation or an odd permutation? A permutation is called an even permutation if it can be expressed as a product of an even number of transposition or even number of cycles. A transposition is a cycle with length 2. So, and if you can decompose your permutation into odd number of cycles, then that will be an odd permutation. Or cycle of length 2 is called a transposition. These are some remarks. First, Any permutation can either be an even permutation or an odd permutation. That cannot be both. Now, product of two even permutations is an even permutation. Since the sum of two even integers is an even integer, you can see like that. So product of two even permutations is even permutation. Next is product of two odd permutation is again an even permutation. Product of an even permutation and an odd permutation is an odd permutation. The inverse of an even permutation is an even permutation, and the inverse of an odd permutation is an odd permutation. And if you have permutation F as written as the product of transpositions A1, B1, A2, B2, AM, BM, then its inverse would be AM, BM, AM minus 1, BM minus 1, and so on, A2, B2, A1, B1. Identity permutation is an even permutation. Identity permutation is always an even permutation. This you can see the justification there. Since for any permutation in Sn, sigma belongs to Sn. Sigma composite sigma inverse is identity, uh, and identity is even permutation. Sigma is even permutation. The sigma will be your even or odd permutation. So your identity permutation is an even permutation. See this example. This cycle is given permutation 132 cyclic permutation. Then we have just written this permutation as a product of disjoint cycles. So 1 2 into 1 3 will be 132. So this they are two cycles. So you have written them as a product of even number of cycles. So this is an even permutation. Now 1 2 3 4. Here you have three cycles. So this is an odd permutation. Now, here in this example, we have listed all the elements of S4. S4, that means the permutation group defined on a set with four elements, 1 2 3 4. So S4 will have factorial four elements that you can see from here. All those factorial four, that is 24 elements are written here. Now these are some important facts. So if AN is the set of all even permutations of Sn, so Sn means the set of all permutations defined on a set with n positive integers. Then you just collect all the even permutations from those permutations. Then the collection of all even permutation forms a group, and that group has a special name that is called the alternating group of degree n. So and now we are saying the order of an. So that alternating group, its order is exactly half of the order of Sn. So order of Sn is factorial n. So therefore order of An will be factorial n by 2. This point, if alpha is the product of these two cycles, beta 1, beta 2, beta r, and there is some other decomposition of alpha, gamma 1, gamma 2, gamma s, where betas and gammas are two cycles, then this r and s are both even or both odd. They cannot be this even, this odd, this odd, this even. That cannot be possible. So either they both are odd or both are even. Even permutations form a group. So that thing we have already seen here in this point. So the set of even permutations in Sn forms a subgroup of Sn, and that subgroup is called the alternating group of degree. The group of even permutations of n symbols is denoted by An and is called the alternating group of degree n, and order of An is exactly half the order of Sn, that is factorial n by 2. So today we have seen these important facts about permutation groups. So in the next video, we are going to start the next chapter, and that is about cosets, or we will see what we can do further in permutation groups. Next few more results if possible. So till then, bye bye, take care.